What is up, my degenerates? Chris, the Dice Degen here on Casino Gaming TV. We're back with the Daily Wager, baby. Ready to get this thing going, all right? It's almost football season. It is football season with preseason going on right now. And you know your boy's happy. Soccer starting back up. So my favorites are going, all right? But let's say hello to Ian. Ian, how are you, my friend? Hopefully you'll be joining me here soon with some good old football chat and some just good chats in general. He said, go Hawks. Yeah, you know, when they're not playing the Birds, but, you know, otherwise, sure, whatever, go Hawks. It's funny, I was wearing my Seahawks shirt the other day when they were playing. Yeah. So, anyway, you guys are here for the fantasy football chat, so we're going to get into that. And we'll get it going, shall we? Shall we get it going? You guys know, disclaimers. The picks are continuing. If you guys aren't in Discord already, pop over to the Discord. It's linked down below. You guys can get picks there, back-to-back winning days on some soccer picks. So, bueno. All bueno. Good evening, Lou, my friend. How are you this evening? Hope you're doing well, sir. So, what's coming this week? All right. Today we're going to break down fantasy football in general. All right. Pretty high level, surface level type discussion of what fantasy football is, how it all works, things like that. Tomorrow's show, we'll be going over drafting, what you need to know with drafting for different types of leagues and things like that. And then Wednesday we'll do a show on positional breakdown. So we will do position by position. I'll give you my rankings at positions, who to look for at positions, and things like that. So that's going to be this week. And sorry, getting a text from my dad. You never know what could happen there. But that's this week. All right. So fantasy football breakdown today, drafting for success tomorrow, and then positional breakdown on Wednesday. And today, like I said, we're going to get into fantasy football in general. So, Casino Gaming TV, first of all right, where you are right now. We had a couple leagues last year. They were a lot of fun. I want everyone to join. You don't have to be in the paid league. You can be in the free league, all right? And we're going to do at least one paid league, at least one free league, all right? The paid league I have almost halfway full already. So if you want to get in the paid league, get with me in Discord or shoot me an email and let me know if you want to be in it, all right? It's going to be 10 to 12 players, not going higher than 12. And like I said, we almost have 10 already in the league. So let me know if you want to be in it. Last year's buy-in was $50 to buy in. And we had either 10 or 12 teams. Winner took all. You get prize for first, second, and third place. Third place, you get your money back. So we will get that going. So if you want to be in there, let me know. All right. And again, Discord, email dicedegen@gmail.com or dicedegen in Discord, and you can pop in there and we'll get it going. Free leagues, we can have as many as you want. Definitely having at least one. I have quite a bit of interest already. May have to open up a second league, so we'll talk about that. And then we're also going to do a survivor pool. All right, so the survivor pool is going to be either paid or free, most likely free, but if people want to do it paid, we can certainly do it paid. And you can be in the fantasy football league as well as the survivor pool, whatever you want to do. But what a survivor pool is, for those of you who don't know, is basically each week you pick a team to win. You don't have to worry about spreads or anything. You just pick a team straight up. Once you pick that team, you cannot pick them again for the rest of the season. But basically you try to pick a winning team each week and you move on. If you don't pick, if your team loses, you're out. All right, so that's most likely going to be free, but I want to see a lot of people in that. All right, it's a lot of fun when a lot of people are in that. So if you want to do it, again, get with me. I will manage all of that, and we will get your entries in. All right. Ian says he's going to dominate. Ian, what happened last year? Did we dominate last year? I don't remember. No, I do remember. No, you had a good team last year. Just got unlucky. All right. So, what the heck? Where are my slides? Uh-oh. I don't know what that is, but forget about that. We're going to talk about types of leagues. Live show. What can you say? Live show. It happens. We're talking about the different types of leagues that you can be involved in. All right. So the first league we're going to talk about is a redraft league. All right. That's the most common type of league that most people are in. CGTV is an example. So what that is every single year you draft a new team. All right. You can have different players in the league. You can have different, people that are involved, but you redraft a new team every single year. All right. You can have in these leagues anywhere from 8 to 14 typically. Some leagues have 32. When you get into 32 players on 32 managers in a league, it gets pretty tough to make a solid team, but can be done, of course. So typically, though, the range from 8 to 14 teams, and you draft every single year. Now, there's another type of league, which is the keeper league. And so the owners or the participants, those who are playing in the fantasy league, play each year. All right, so you have to make a commitment to want to play each year pretty much. And you keep a certain amount of players from your last roster each year. All right, so you can pick who those are. And the amount of players you can keep depends on the league itself, right? So I'm in a couple of keeper leagues. In one league, you get to keep 1 player. In another league, you get to keep 3 players. So depends on the league format, but what you do there is you keep a certain amount of players each year, and then you draft the same way you would in a redraft league without those kept players. All right, so let's say, for example, let's say Ian, right, has his team, and since he's a Hawks fan, right, let's say, he had Geno Smith last year, and he thinks Geno's going to blow up again this year, and he wants to keep him. Well, he could keep him and designate him as a keeper in that league. What that'll mean is Geno Smith will be unavailable to draft, and he's already on Ian's team. All right? Let's say, since I'm a Birds fan, right, I have, go Birds, baby. Anyway, let's say I took Jalen Hurts, and I want Jalen Hurts again this year. I can select Jalen Hurts as my keeper, and I'll draft as usual, but Jalen Hurts is not available because he's already on my team. That's what a keeper league is, all right? Good evening, Jim. How are you? The little bit farther down that road is called the Dynasty League, all right? So it's similar to a keeper league, but this one you definitely have to make a commitment to play every single year for a consistent amount of time because you're going to play each year and you keep your whole team pretty much, all right? Not every player, but you keep a majority of your team for the next season. Now, you don't just keep the few players like you would in a keeper league, you keep a lot of people. What that does is obviously the draft is, there's not a lot of players left, right? Because everybody is keeping a bunch of players. What that looks like is rookies have a lot of upside. So, for example, this year, a lot of people are high on Bijan Robinson, right? If you can get Bijan in a dynasty league, you could have a top running back for years to come. All right, so that's a dynasty league. Just giving you guys a little breakdown on what the leagues are. For us, we're doing the keeper league, or not the keeper league, just the regular redraft. So there won't be any players kept. It's just going to be a standard league, and we're all going to draft, and we'll pick a time that works for everybody. All right, but again, if you guys want to get in on the league, please do reach out to me via email, dicedegen@gmail.com, or you can message me in Discord, and we can get you set up. Lou, have a great evening. Good luck in the morning, and I'm sure you're going to take Harris for some coin. Good luck, brother. All right. What is next on? I got to get my chat out of the way. There we go. All right. So league formats, right? So we talked about the different types of leagues. Now we're going to talk about how the leagues work scoring-wise, right? How do you win? So most of the leagues are going to be head-to-head, which is what the Casino Gaming TV League is. You play one member in the league each week. The high score wins that week, right? So let's say Ian is playing against me. Let's say Ian puts up, 150 points. Let's say I put up 130 points. Ian wins that week. His record's 1-0. I'm 0-1. Okay. And next week, let's say I play against Lou, and I win against Lou. Your record improves. It's like a standard scoring type of system, right? So you win, you get the record, and you move up and down. And then there's rankings based on how many wins and losses you have, like a typical league would be, right? Good evening, Goldie. How are you? Display that chat up there. Best ball. So best ball is an interesting format. It's not very common, I'll be honest with you. I've played it before, but it's strange because, in my opinion, it takes a lot of the creativity and a lot of the analysis out of playing fantasy football. Basically what it is you draft a team and you don't set a lineup like you would in a head-to-head league. The best ball basically picks your highest scoring players on your team, plugs them in, and then you play against somebody else basically head-to-head, but you don't pick your team. It automatically picks who the highest scorers are on your team, and that's whose scores count. So it kind of takes away the analysis portion of fantasy football, what I consider to be the real fun part of it, with going week by week, looking at matchups, doing that kind of stuff. It kind of takes that away, and you get to basically, you don't have to pick anybody. Whoever scores the highest amount of points, that's who gets counted for your team. There's another one, which is the roto leagues or the rotisserie leagues. They're pretty rare. I haven't seen too many of those recently. And basically the scoring system is created by the people in the league. So you could say that, having the highest performing quarterback in a week, you get 10 points. Second highest, you get 9 points, so on and so forth. It's a created scoring system. It's kind of weird. Not really a fan of those, but if you want to play in those kind of things, you can. Just so you know what it is, I put it up there. And then there's points-only leagues where you don't play against people each week. You basically play against the whole league every single week, and whoever has the highest amount of points at the end of the season is the winner. So it removes that head-to-head format, and what it does is you just build your lineup each week. How many ever points you score, that gets added to your total. And then at the end of the season, whoever has the highest amount of points, they move on, or they win, and so forth and so on. So, next, I don't know, my screen's changed. There we go. All right. So we went over the types of leagues, right? We went over the head-to-head, the matchup portions. Now we'll talk about the draft portions. All right. So different formats of draft. So the standard draft is also called a snake draft or a serpentine draft. And each player is designated a draft position, usually an hour before. That's where I set them when I run a league, is I set it an hour before. You can do it slightly before, but the way that works is in round one, if you have the first pick, you're picking first in round one. And then, so forth and so on. So if you have 10 people in the league, right, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then in round two, it snakes back. So it goes here and it snakes back around. So the 10th pick in the first round, that person would have the first pick in the second round, right? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it would go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That would be the first round. And then going into round three, it would be basically a repeat of round one. So if you have the first or the last pick, you're going to get back-to-back picks. So that's how that works. What is up, Anthony? How are you? So yeah, snake draft is what it's most commonly called, but some sites call it a serpentine. So there you go, the serpentine. And then there's another draft format, which is the auction format, which is very, very interesting. I don't play them very often because I don't like auction drafts personally, but you bid against league members. All right. So what that is it's like it sounds, an auction, and each player gets, a certain amount of money to bid with players, right? So let's say you have $200 as your salary cap, and you basically have to build a team with that $200. Now, sounds easy, sounds good, but you may see a player like Patty Mahomes go for $120. Now that player has $80 left to build the rest of their team. So it's interesting. People can outbid you. You may think you have somebody and you see the countdown. You have the highest bid in there. You go 3, 2, 1, bang. Somebody outbids you right there. So it just keeps going. But they're very interesting. I don't play them very often. I have in the past. But auction drafts, they're tough. Especially if you're playing against, people who really want a player, because you also run into the thing where people try to just bid you higher to run you out of money. So yeah, tough, but it is what it is. What else? Scoring. So scoring really depends on the league. All right. I can say it's pretty standard, but it's not for the most part. And I'm going to break these down more tomorrow with the drafting for success portion of the show. But there's a couple different types of leagues. All right. So there's a point per reception or a PPR league. What that means is each reception by a player is an additional point. So you get points for yards, you get points for touchdowns, you get points for all that kind of stuff. But in a PPR league, you also get a point per catch, right? So even if they go for 0 yards, you still get a point because they caught the ball. All right, now, why is that important in knowing what type of scoring there is? Well, you could have a situation where you're between two different players, but one player catches a lot of balls. They might not get a lot of yards, but they catch a lot of passes. It's important because, well, it's a free point every time they catch the ball, basically. All right? So it switches up your draft strategy a touch. Okay? It doesn't drastically change it, but it switches it up a little bit. Then there's also a half point per reception or a half PPR league, where it's the same thing as a PPR league, but instead of getting a point per catch, you get half a point per catch. All right. And then there's a standard scoring, which is no points for a catch. You only get points for yards, touchdowns, things along those lines. All right. And then some leagues also do bonus scoring. It's not very, very common, but some leagues do it where if like a quarterback throws for over 300 yards, you get an extra bump because they threw for 300 yards. If they throw for 4 touchdowns, if the running back runs for over 100 yards, it depends on the league. They can add bonus scoring. We don't do that on the CGTV leagues. They're just normal scoring. And what I do is I leave it up to the players in the league what kind of scoring they want. Do you want PPR? Do you want half point per reception? Or do you want standard scoring? So if you want to join one of the leagues, again, message me and I will get you situated. But if you're in, like, let's say the paid league, right? Before I set up the league with the paid league, I'll ask everybody, what scoring format do you want? And we vote on it, and that's what we go with. Majority rules, okay? Typically, it's point per reception or half point. Just depends on who is, playing and stuff. What's going on, Ken? How are you? We don't do any bonus scoring, so if you're worried about bonus scoring, don't worry about it. We don't do it. All right. So roster setup each week, right? So if you're in that that auto optimization type league, which is the best ball league, right? You don't really have to worry about this, but for standard rosters, and again, this is what we use on CGTV, it's going to be 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 kicker, 1 defense, and 7 bench players. You also get 2 injured reserve spots If a player goes on the IR and they're potentially coming back later in the season, you can move a player to the IR and then pick up somebody else. But you set this lineup each week, and that's what we use. Now, some leagues have 2 quarterback leagues. Some have a super flex, which is you can put any position in the flex. Some have 3 wide receivers. Some have, 2 flex positions. There's a lot of different types of setups that you can do, but the standard setup is what we use on Casino Gaming TV. So it's going to be 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 kicker, and 1 defense. The defense, you don't have to draft individual defensive players. You draft the team defense as a whole. There are leagues where you can draft individual players. Those are a little bit more time intensive, a little bit more thought goes into that, but we don't worry about that. We're just worrying about the team defense as a whole. And another thing with setting that stuff up is waivers, all right? And what the heck is a waiver and who cares, right? It's not me waving at you. What a waiver is, it's basically free agency for fantasy football, where you can add or drop players. You can replace injured players. If there's somebody who's having a breakout year and nobody drafted them, you could potentially pick them up. But there is an order for the waivers, right? So when I was talking about the draft order, right? So like I said, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, how many people in your league? If you have the first pick, you're going to be last on the waiver wire. If you have the last pick, you're going to be first on the waiver wire, right? So if you have 10 players in the league, you're going to go, again, the waiver wire is going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the reason why it does that is because you basically put in that you want a player and you want to add the player, and whoever has priority gets that player first. So let's say Anthony and I are vying after the same guy, but he's ahead of me on the waiver wire list. He would get the player and I wouldn't. All right. As the season goes on, it changes from that draft order down to your record. So the team who has the worst record is going to be first on the waiver wire. Team who has the best record is going to be last on the waiver wire, and that's how it goes as the season goes on. So basically to benefit the teams who aren't performing too well, to help them get a little bit of an edge maybe and grab some better players. That's how the waiver wire works. Now, in an auction league, the waiver wire order doesn't matter because you have to bid for players, right? So just like you have to bid for players in the draft, in an auction waiver, you also have to bid for players. You get a set amount of money. It's not impacted by what you spent at the draft. It's a separate amount of money, and you can make claims on the waiver wire just for that. But why it's good is, again, if someone's having a good year, you can add them and you can benefit from them. Or if somebody gets hurt, right? Let's say a top quarterback goes down, you had them on your team, you need to pick up some quarterbacks to fill in the gaps, you can do that. Or a team's wide receiver goes down, you got to pick up his replacement maybe, things along those lines. So that's what the waiver wire is used for. And week to week, right? What are you doing week to week? So you're going to be setting your lineup, all right? Now, if you want to play, I would more than welcome you to play. Again, you guys know what to do. Either message me or email me, one of the two, and I'll get you set up. If you want to play, please play, okay? Please don't just not set your team for the season. People do that. It sucks. It's annoying. It's not fun, okay? It's not fun, all right? So you got to set your lineup. And why that matters is, well, matchups, people look at that kind of stuff, right? If you're like me, I sit here like a degenerate all day long and I'm looking at matchups. I'm looking at favorable matchups, all those kind of things. Also, people have buys, right? There's bye weeks in the NFL. When there's a bye week, your player isn't getting any points. They're not playing. So you have to set somebody else in their position, right? So please set your lineups if you're going to play. You can also look at the waiver wires to see who's available week to week, right? So the waiver wires usually open up on, they're open all the time, but they're usually, you can start placing claims, during the weekend, and they clear usually Wednesday morning. I think I usually set it to have the waivers clear around 4 a.m. Wednesday morning, I think, is usually when I set it. The other thing with the waivers and free agency and things like that, sometimes somebody will drop a player and you want to add them and you need them for that week. You may not be able to add them in time for the game. If things like that happen, you can text me or message me as the commissioner, and we'll put it to a vote in the league. We're usually pretty nice about it, and I can force the claim to go through so you can get that player. Not on a typical waiver wire week, but let's say, I have a guy, I drop him on Wednesday morning because I claimed somebody else off waivers. That player may not be available until, let's say, Saturday to actually add to your lineup, but they're playing on Thursday night and you need somebody to add. If there's a situation like that and you're pretty high up on the waiver list, we can force that through after a league vote, and you can add them basically instantaneously. Also on a week-to-week basis, you're going to want to follow the matchups, right? You're going to want to see who's playing who has a favorable matchup, who doesn't have a favorable matchup, and make your decisions for your team based on that. And obviously, everybody wants to win, so try your best to win. And finally, I'm going to open up for questions. If anybody has any questions related to fantasy football, put them in chat right now, and I have chat open so I can see it. And you can ask me the questions, but again, if you want to be in the fantasy football league, text me if you have my phone number. If you don't have my phone number, shoot me an email, all right, dicedegen@gmail.com, or message me in Discord. It's dicedegen in Discord. You can message me, and we can get it going. Also, while I'm waiting for some questions to pop up, I will open up Discord and show you where you can find information. So let me log in to Discord, because on the Casino Gaming TV Discord, there's a whole section for fantasy football. So if you want to be in there, you can, and you can ask questions in there, or you can message me directly in there, and we can get it going. So, Goldie, I did see your question. I will answer it in 1 second. I'll answer it now before I actually go to the Discord. All right, so how many teams make the playoffs? It depends on how many people are in the league. So, for example, last year, I think we had 12 teams in the paid league. 6 made it to the playoffs. Top 2 teams got a bye. The 3 seed played the 6 seed. The 4 seed played the 5 seed. Then the 1 seed played the lowest remaining seed. The 2 seed played the next team. And then the winner of that played for the championship. So typically half of the league makes the playoffs. So that's for this question, how many teams make the playoffs. Anthony asked, what will the cost be for the paid league? Most likely $50. I did put a message in the Discord to let me know what everybody's comfortable with and what they want for the buy-in for the league. Last year it was $50. It probably won't be more than that. But if somebody tells me that they want to be in it and they really want it to be 25 and no higher, we can do something like that. Or we can figure out some kind of arrangement. But most likely $50 for the paid league. Free league, it's free. It's exactly what it sounds like. Let me switch over here so you can see. And here you go. All right, here's the Discord, right? Casino Gaming TV Discord. Yeah. You can come in here in the fantasy football page. All right, fantasy football page right on my screen here. Okay, and you can talk in here, right? Anthony obviously is in here. John's in here. I'm in here. So if you can't find me in Discord, I'm literally right here, okay? I'm in the fantasy league. You can message me, all that kind of stuff. But you can see here up ahead that I put some information in here, somewhere up here. Here you go. So one free, one paid, maybe a third if there's interest, survivor pool, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to be in it, again, right here, okay? Drop me a DM or email. My email's there. And you can tell me which league you want to be in and all that kind of stuff. Jen, what is up? You weren't in the league last year because you didn't want to be, but good evening, Miss Lawyer. Jen, I know you're good for whatever buy-in we put, so I'm not worried about you. But yeah, if anybody wants to be in it, again, message me. And yeah, if any other questions though, put them in chat. If not, I will end the show here. And we can chat tomorrow about, what did I say? Tomorrow I'm doing drafting for success. So we're going to talk all about the draft, what to look for, things to go over in the draft, all that kind of stuff. So that will be tomorrow's show. And yes, the Survivor League will also be going on. And we're going to be doing that. So Jen, you'll be doing that. Basically, the Survivor League is going to be, I have 2 sites that I'm debating between using for it, but it's most likely going to be free. And everybody can join. AZ, you're a serpentine, okay? Do you use a fantasy football site or do I run the leagues myself? We use a site. Last year we used ESPN because ESPN is the most friendly for everybody. I'm a fan of Sleeper myself, but I know a lot of people like ESPN. So it'll either be Sleeper or ESPN. ESPN usually gets the most votes. So we'll go ESPN's league. I don't like Yahoo. I don't like NFL's league, any kind of that stuff. And Jen, I'm down for a nominal fee. I really am. I just leave it to have as much participation as possible. But for $5, I'm in. I mean, you can make it 50 and I'm in on the Survivor pool. You know, it is all that kind of stuff. But, ooh, I like that. I like that, Anthony. I like that. So Survivor pool with a $10 buy-in, but 3 entries. I do like that. Or we could do something like, not single elimination, but double elimination type things. That could be cool too, if people want that. But I do like that idea of having like a small fee to buy in and then, get entries and stuff. Because I know people, if it's free, people don't get involved with it and they don't check it, right? The monetary thing behind it makes people want to check it. So it keeps people a little bit more accountable with it. So I'm a fan of that. But you guys let me know what you want to do, and we can certainly do it. But again, any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, we can move on. 3 is too many, but 2 is good, or double elimination. Yeah, I like the double elimination idea there. $10 for each entry up to 3. Okay. And after week 6, a rebuy league. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, we can set these things up. So if people want them, we can definitely do it. Again, just message me in Discord and tell me that you're interested, right? If people don't tell me they're interested, I'm not going to assume people are interested, and I won't run it, all right? So we can do that, but let's carry this chat over to Discord again, right? I showed you where it is, Fantasy Football League. Get it in there, and we can have a good time, all right? Hope you guys all have a great rest of your night. Again, tomorrow, join me for the draft discussion. And Anthony, don't you worry, we'll be betting on football very, very soon. I don't bet on preseason typically because I don't know who's playing and I don't know how long people are playing for, right? So I don't know, right? Look at the Chiefs, they lost. Look at the Eagles, they lost. Look at the Cowboys, they lost. We're talking teams that people are picking to win the Super Bowl beforehand, and they're losing in preseason. Does preseason matter? No, not really. But I don't know who's playing, and I don't know if starters are playing, all that kind of stuff. And if a starter does play, how long are they playing for, right? You don't know. So I don't bet on preseason for that reason. But we'll be getting to betting on football very, very soon. And hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I will see you all tomorrow. And just remember, you all have Degen in you. Have a good night. Peace.